I just want to jump back to the topic of church real quick. The Bible says in Revelation, it talks about the different churches that kind of exist nowadays. The seven churches are kind of broadly describing the different churches we see nowadays and here in these end times. And for example, you can look and, you can kind of figure out who these churches are if you look. But one, for example, that you've got to be careful about, and it's really scary, and it really opens your eyes when you realize this, is one of the churches, he says, I know your works, and I know you have a name, that you live, but you are dead. Have you ever heard of anyone promote their church to you and say, oh, you should come to our church? It's alive. It's spirit-filled. We really got it going on here. It's not dead like some of these other churches. It's alive. That's their trigger word. It's spirit-filled. It's alive. This is why you need to come. Well, it's really scary to realize God doesn't care if it's alive because it got a good worship band or, happy people or any reason like that. That's not what's important to God. What's important to him is, he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And, the Bible actually says, and we'll talk about it later, but, this verse says, I know you have a name. I know you have a name, that you live. Your church is alive. He is talking directly to these people. But thou art dead. So you got to be careful. And like I said, you read some of the other churches mentioned in the book of Revelation, the seven churches, you can figure out who they are. And everyone likes to be the Church of Philadelphia. And I thought I'd just mention this really quick because they're the only church that, has a good thing said to them. I want to point out, though, a lot of people don't realize that there were two churches that had a positive report given to them. One was obviously Church of Philadelphia. He said, I know you have a little strength, so just hold on, hold fast to that which you have, and I will come. So that's one, and that's the boat that everyone wants to be in, but they're not. And I could only pray that my wife and my kids and I am in that boat, but I don't know. I think God's may have cut me out for possibly the other boat, which is the other church who did get a positive. They had no rebukes to this church, but they were told you're going to have a final test, and the lawless one is going to throw some of you into prison, and you're going to need to face the last test. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you whatever he gave you. But so people think, oh yeah, there were seven churches and only one of them had a good report. Well, no, there were seven churches, but two of them were not rebuked. Only one of them, yes, is true, was told you just hold on. But there was one that didn't have any negative rebukes, but they were told you're going to have one final test kind of thing. Anyway, I just want to mention that.